Okay, I'm doing the scene. A whole bunch of cop cars roll in. 30 cop cars. We don't rehearse it. Don't rehearse it one bit. Actor gets out of the car. Little kid, looks like he's 12. Gets out. Doesn't have a gun. Decides he's gonna improv. So gets out of the car, opens the door. He's got his hands out there like this. Just looking around with his hands. Right in front of camera.
All right, hey, my name's Rob, and I'm a production sound mixer. I record the dialogue on films, TV shows, that sort of thing. And 25 years ago, in 1999, I worked on this, Bad Guys in Hell. It used to be called Bad Guys. It was when I was working on it. Apparently, they are now in hell.
Set! Action!
Don't shoot, man! Don't shoot! I give up! I give up!
Stay down! Get out! Get here! Stay back!
And my friend Patrick, who also worked on the film, somehow secured a couple copies of this movie, which was only released in South Africa, from my understanding. At least the DVD was. And I guarantee you never saw this thing. And that's just fine. You're not missing anything. So we had just a crazy experience working on this film. And at the time, in 1999, I was real fed up with my career. I had been working on films for about 5 years at that point, and just felt like my career was going nowhere, as evidenced by Bad Guys in Hell.
If you want to be in the film industry, you be in there. But if you want to get out, you're out of there. So I'm talking to you. Make your decision now. It's computer or film. Now!
And I thought, this might be the last film I ever work on, so what I should do is document it. And I documented it on this. This is a Digital 8 camera. This is what came out after High 8.
They're in a good project together. So I wonder if it's going to be a...
Back then, I just had this thing, and I just walked around and just randomly pointed it at whatever. And I got 8 hours of footage of the making of Bad Guys in Hell.
I highly recommend the Snickers. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do that. I can't do that. We don't have product placement for that.
The film did star Michael Madsen, right there. And he was a nice guy. He was a cool guy. Enjoyed working with him.
He was a good kid. He tried his best.
But it's made by this company called Giants Entertainment. I laugh every time I hear that name because there was nothing giant about them. They just made these kind of low-budget action thrillers, and there'd be a lot of explosions and gunshots, and there'd be, helicopters and cop cars and boats and motorcycles and whatever, and they would just churn these things out. They'd make 5 or 6 of them a year.
During the course of operations, if you see anything on the aircraft, a puff of smoke, this, that, or whatever, there are no stupid questions. Address it to Jeff. Jeff has 25 years of helicopter experience. He'll know what to do with me.
All right, so let's get to it. Let's check out the behind-the-scenes footage from Bad Guys in Hell.
Honey, oh, look at our home.
You're home.
Look at this. Did you miss me?
Oh, more than you'll know. Welcome to Tehachapi, California.
Hey, thanks. It's kind of chilly out.
And the behind-the-scenes
Behind the scenes.
making of Bad Guys, the motion picture.
So you looking forward to this?
I am indeed. I'm here, aren't I?
You are
We're
here.
gonna have some fun. We're gonna blow up some helicopters and eat some brains and shoot people.
And that's just tomorrow.
That's just...
You're so tall I can't even fit you in the goddamn frame.
Well, what are you framing me for? I mean, are you focusing on my crotch or something?
That's not a bad idea.
This is our screenplay, Bad Guys. You're not rolling, are you?
There ain't nothing in room 237.
many Patricks can they fit in a Honda CRX?
Real fucking funny to watch the tall guy get out of a small car, isn't it? What you got?
Call sheets. Going to everybody.
Well, what time are we starting there tomorrow?
6.
6 a.m.
Notice the excitement in my face.
Are you guys PAs?
Yes.
Do you know what box? I need a box of like 18-foot candles. Do you know where those are?
Did you have anything else on the list? 18-foot candles?
The list. What's the list?
Who did you?
They should be like somewhere on the camera top truck. I don't know.
18-foot candles?
Yeah.
No problem.
They're like individually boxed in a bigger box.
Okay, cool.
And what about the focus juice?
Focus juice. Do we need focus juice?
We documenting this?
Exterior Tikers Meth Labs sewage.
They are constantly saying the word methane amphetamines.
Right.
They're not even saying the name of the drug correctly. The movie is about methane amphetamines.
Well, it sounds much more scientific when you say it like that. It sounds, oh, these guys must know what they're talking about.
In local news, our state is now ranked #1 amongst the nation's highest manufacturers of methane amphetamines. In a recent high school survey, 89% of all high school students polled said they have tried or know someone who has tried this deadly drug. In other news,
I've since worked with a few of the actors from that show, Michael Madsen and who's the guy who was the villain with the white makeup on his face. He's been in like Roman Polanski movies and stuff like this. I mean, he's been around for a while, but I worked with him, and all those guys have such stories to tell from that movie, just like we do.
I know when I was watching this footage at the end, I said to Madsen, it was nice working with him or whatever. And he was like very gracious about it. He's like, oh, I understand. And this has been a crazy shoot or whatever. But, you know, he was actually really nice about it. I think we both said goodbye to him. But
wow. Yeah. And he was in the van, the truck when they were bouncing you around in the back and you said, get me out of here.
You have to be quiet, they got no sound.
Hey, they aren't rolling sound, are they?
Yes, they are.
Bye-bye, it's been a pleasure.
Sorry to see you guys go, but I'm jealous as hell. You guys gonna go? You guys going home tonight?
Oh yeah, we're going home now after we cash our checks.
We should be home by 9.
Oh, so that's cash our checks. Buy a beer, but I guess buy a beer in LA.
There you go.
See you guys.
The next show.
Take a rain check.
I have footage of you filmed me in the van on the way back to the hotel, and I was telling that story in my 30-year-old manner or whatever. So I actually have that footage as well, where I'm talking about what happened, and
Wow.
It's actually pretty funny because I remember Brian said, all right, we're gonna go tear this shit up, and what I said back then was, can we not tear this shit up right now? Because, you know, I'm in the back of the Jeep, I'm unrestrained, I'm just sitting here with my recorder and whatever, and, you know, just trying to get dialogue. Let's just do a pass where we get dialogue. I'll step out. You can do whatever you want after that. Yeah.
So we get in this Jimmy 4x4 piece of shit, you know, rewired with the, you know, the fog lights on the top, some like Baja cruiser mobile, and we're gonna do this scene. So I get in the back, I'm sitting in the back, I'm not strapped in, I've got my equipment there, and I said, Brian, you know, be careful, I'm back here, I'm unrestrained, you know, just take it easy. He's telling Michael Madsen in the passenger seat, we're gonna have some fun on this shot. We're gonna really rip this shit up. That's what he said. I said, can you please not rip this shit up while I'm back here?
This piece of shit matters, huh?
Yeah, rip it up another time, not when I'm back here with all my sound equipment, you know? Not when I'm back here with $20,000 worth of equipment that's on your insurance. This is a favor to him. I don't care if my stuff gets broken, I'll get new stuff. So even Michael Madsen was saying, all right, you know, be calm, you know, it's okay, just calm down, take it slow, you know, I'm in the car here too. So he hits the horn, he takes off. I said, this is not gonna be good.
I remember seeing you walking back and I said, oh, I guess we're out of here. That was my first thought when I saw you and your recorder hung over your shoulder, and I was like, wait a minute, shouldn't he be driven back?
And they dumped me out. Like, I had to walk like 3/4 of a mile back with all my gear. They just dumped me out, you know, at the end of their run, wherever they had gone or whatever. And I'm like, standing there with all my stuff. But I was
And
always
you called out to me, Patrick, pack it up, we're leaving.
He's starting to go a little bit up and down and off the road. I'm holding on to the roll cage, you know, and I'm saying, Brian, very calmly, I said, I've done this stuff before. I know you bounce around a little, you know. We weren't even doing the scene. We were just driving to where we were gonna go. So he says, Michael, watch this. Slams on the brakes. He does a 180. All of a sudden, I see all my equipment go to the side of the car, up against the wall.
I was so excited to get out of there because what I remember about that show is that it was the highest turnaround of crew members I've ever seen on a movie in all my 25 years of experience. I mean, we had new people coming and going every single day. And it's amazing that we lasted as long as we did.
You guys are out of here, huh?
Yeah. Last 2.5 hours or 2 hours, what it was, still didn't help anymore either. That was minor though, we can take that. We need messing with the man's gun license.
This is how bad this show is.
I've been in the business 20-some plus years and I've never seen anything like this in my whole life.
And he was begging you to stay, and you were just trying to get our paychecks. Yeah, I remember that too. And then we finally got the paychecks and we hit the road and we had to find the nearest bank because you said, we got to cash these as soon as possible because these are only going to be good for an hour.
Family that kills together stays together.
I remember you got the Genesee's tantrum about the boots. You know, they had all these army boots and these kids are wearing like sneakers and stuff. And, you know, all you're seeing are the trees, but you hear his meltdown.
I will scream it, I want to scream it. I'm the fucking director, and if you read the script, it's death and his troops. I didn't put it in. It's death and his troops.
At the meeting, we decided to take
what
the
meeting?
troops out. Yes, at the production meeting.
What meeting was I at? What fucking meeting was I at?
No, I gotta think like he had maybe directed like some stunt unit stuff. He seems like one of those guys. Maybe he had done some second unit stuff. I don't know that he had directed anything up to that point. And he was also, you know, one of the leads in it. So probably was a lot for him, you know, going on at the same time. And I mean, I'm sure he had legitimate concerns. He was not given enough budget. And that's why he had a bunch of teenagers in black high tops running around as the elite commando troops, you know. So one of the guys looked like Jerry Garcia and he had a bandana.
Right. Yeah, it was like a Cheech and Chong, you know, cast out there as mercenaries. Yeah, and Irv was such a character himself. I mean, I thought he was great. He had a great personality, and he was, you know, I remember some part on your video, Brian starts attacking him, and Irv's like, whoa, no, get off my case. But Irv was his own camera operator as well as being the DP, and that was problematic because Irv was such a large man. I remember we were doing in the hotel. We had a hotel room by a fireplace, and it was an intimate dialogue scene between Michael and I think the actress playing his girlfriend. And you know, slow creep in on the dolly as Michael's giving this emotional speech, and all I could hear was Irv's breathing because he was such a big guy.
Close the cuts. Close the cuts.
Yeah, we're about to use this.
Right. Okay, we're ready.
Okay, we're awake now.
There was a lot of stunts on that show, like a lot of dangerous stunts. And I remember our longest day, I think it was a 22-hour day. You know, they always save the big stunts for the very last part of the day. And we threw a guy through a plate glass window at hour 21 of 22. And, you know, before they went, it was not a calm set. Genesee was screaming, everybody's screaming. And, you know, it's just not what you want to see before somebody goes through a plate glass window.
Guys, come on! God damn it! They run out to the left! Right? I've said it now 7 times. JP's in there. He's gonna ADR him saying, freeze with a gun, and they're running. It's the 17th time. Come out, go to the left. No, your reaction is to get out and go to the left. Fuck.
And action.
Cut. Cut.
Okay? Awesome, baby. Awesome.
John Philip Law, the actor, yeah, he was known for a few big roles in the '60s when he was a young, good-looking guy. He did The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, and he was in Barbarella as the young guy who didn't talk much because he just looked good. Well, his career didn't go very far because he was a horrible actor, but we got him because he was available.
Roll camera.
And mark. Action.
Mr. Thomas. Back to first position, John and Walker. Keep rolling. Don't cut. Okay? And action.
Mr. Thomas Buford, this is Sheriff Bramley. You're surrounded.
What did you learn from the making of Bad Guys in Hell? What did you take away from this experience?
Well, I learned that that I needed to join the union, and once I did, I have never had to look back. Because just the way I was treated on that show, I said I never, ever, ever want to have to do this. I mean, it was actually illegal, like I said, where they paid me $100 flat rate every day, and we did a 22-hour day, and we were doing 16 and 18-hour days. The hours were ridiculous, and it was the most abuse I've ever taken on a movie. But at the same time, I have more stories to tell from that movie than any other movie that I've ever worked on.
It was in the Hollywood Reporter, and because remember on the Hollywood Reporter on Thursdays, they always had listings of movies and stuff like that. And I was just getting started out, really. I mean, I hadn't been in the industry that long, and so I would always call people. Just I'd go down the list. Here's this show. I'd call it because I always had a phone number, and I thought, I'll call somebody. And I called and called and called and called different shows, and eventually I got that one. And they had me come in and meet Brian, and Brian liked me for whatever reason, and they hired me. The hotel we stayed in, was the Holiday Inn or whatever the hell that thing was, he owned that. The guy who writes the check, that's the final opinion. That's the opinion that I'm going to listen to. And Brian never understood that. And I watched Brian and David would fight all the time.
What do you think I'm showing, David? I'm fucking showing this. This is what I'm showing. I turned it to get the fucking window. I am showing this. We got the I am dealing with this.
I don't even know if that was his first directing time or close to that, and he didn't have any after that, and he needed David more than David needed Brian. And because Brian was one of those, I'll be the director and I'll be the lead actor and it'll be great, and and you'll save money and da 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 da, which was always going to be a recipe for disaster.
Do I put the plates down or do I keep them in my hand because I've just seen them?
You keep them in your hand.
Keep them in my
Again,
hand.
we're in a different car this time.
So someone can run the table first on the open light. You got it. Thank you.
Hang on, I gotta clean this up.
And we're ready to go. So we're in a different car this time, so maybe, you may not know that it's us through that window.
He didn't prep well. And I'm not dogging on him when I say that. The not prepping well wasn't necessarily Brian's fault, because it was David saying a lot of times, don't worry about it, I have it, don't worry about it, I have it. Which is David's way of saying, I have to go buy it. I knew Irv good enough, rest his soul, from another movie we did together. And I love the guy because he's just, I mean, he did way too many drugs in the 60s. And he, he was, we did a movie called Lord Protector together. It was a medieval movie. And I remember him taking a xenon light, and we had this old antique table. There was this book on this antique table, and he put this xenon light over it because it was supposed to be this idea of this beam of light coming down on the book. And turns on the light and everything like that. And he's looking at me, and I'm like, and he's like, look at all, and he'd run his hand through it, and he'd say, look at all the dust, and look at all these little, and I'm like, Irv, and he's like, look at all this, like, Irv is like, look at all this, like, Irv, and goes, what? I said, you're setting the table on fire.
Only that our state. I have it memorized by now.
Well, you do it.
Hey, honey. It's about methamphetamines.
Oh, yeah.
And how 89% of all high school students have either polled, yeah. In a high school survey, 89% of the students polled have either tried or know someone who has tried this deadly drug.
He was hooked for a long time.
I was.
Yeah, he just got off.
Brian was volatile. I mean, he was just, he was one of those, I understand he had a lot of pressure on him, but he was just always like, that switch is just like that with that guy.
I'm asking about shoes. I'm asking if they've gone out and got 15 pairs of combat boots for the big fights we're having with fucking people. And when are they planning on doing that? When I have 20 extras and 30 extras one day?
Hey, you guys. It was our version of living in oblivion. I think is the best way to put it. I mean, I remember when David took out an article in the Hollywood Reporter, it's a full-page ad that said, "I have $100 million to spend. Send me your scripts." And his secretary quit that day because she said that she couldn't handle all of the people coming in with scripts.
Tykar walks up to May. This is the Tykar Chalet. Dungeon morning interior. Tykar opens the box and seductively removes a heart, Chief Bramley's heart. Is that the grandfather? It's their grandpa? Oh. He moves it toward the terrified and repulsed girls. Rosie, John, he gives her a look. Rosie, Tykar. It's confusing you. Tykar points to his curtain.
Wait, point again.
Behold a door. Wait, should I hold my poser? Behold, a door standing open in heaven, and I heard a voice from heaven, like the voice of many waters. Cone out. Did they have that typo? Come out. There's a lot of typos here. I don't know how to say all this.
Remember the bank? Were you there for the bank? When we scouted, the bank manager said that he didn't want us there. You knew that?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, he said, "I do not want you guys there." And David went off and found out who owned the land that the bank sat on and bought the land. And then went and told the bank manager to get his bank off his property. That's how we ended up shooting there.
Anybody work here? Have a deposit to make? Can I see the vaults? Where are the vaults? Is my money safe here? Do you have security or anything? You're it?
I don't want to say we didn't have permits. I don't remember seeing one. We were always cops. There was always a cop somewhere. And it might have been because of David's reputation. It might have been because he pissed off somebody at City Hall.
I'm not mad at you. I'm moving. I can't light
Do you understand the chief of the police is, we wake him up from bed, can you go see him outside as a friend? Huh?
It was an adventure to say the least. Some great people, made some great friends, and learned a little on the way.
Order up. They made you do anything yet?
Well, yeah. Sit and act like we're talking to each other and be all happy in the...
Well, that's good. That's something.
Yeah, it's something.
Are they paying you?
No.
Hi. What'd you find there?
I'm in the shower.
Is this the shower scene?
Yeah.
Oh.
Two guys out here.
How many hours do you think we're gonna go today?
Oh, about 25.
Dan! SWAT team light. Why we don't put the SWAT team light?
What's this?
SWAT team light.
SWAT
To
truck.
be on.
SWAT truck.
I'll let you do that. I wouldn't do that.
Okay. Other than that,
What, the E-lotion?
for those of you who have the many uses of the vitamin E and lanolin lotion, we don't want to know.
How about the road paving thing? That's something fucking needed. Oh, we don't have a road, I'll build my own.
I don't care if they run. I need to blow them up.
I build the road and then charge people that Tehachapi money to drive on it.
The Don National Expressway.
The Don toll roads.
Toll road.